All right, everyone, welcome back, where we are testing your masks that you send to me. That's right. We tested all the masks on Amazon, but there are more masks out there in the world, so send them to me, and I will test them. So this one comes from Peter. Peter, thank you. And priority mail, too. Thanks for spending the extra bucks. Peter's sending me a DNW protective mask. I'm actually going to read a part of his letter here. He said, "Hey, Lloyd. My mom bought these masks from some vendor at a local strip mall somewhere in Southern California about a month or two after they locked down. She never told me how much she paid for them. I can only imagine. It was a lot. It seems this manufacturer is adept in making alphabet soup with all of the standards and agency marks printed on the packaging in hopes that some unsuspecting soul would buy it. The only thing I'd bet my life on with this mask was to filter the wildfire smoke in Washington that Washington was engulfed in during the summer of 2020. This is very dramatically written. I didn't expect this to happen before I started reading. I have enclosed 2 of these masks for you and Horacio to test and try on. It'd be great to see the test results on YouTube. I ask only that you use my first name." You got it, Peter. All right, Peter. Thank you for the masks. And don't worry, I won't reveal your true identity. All right, so he sent me 2 of these, which is awesome. I appreciate they came in the original packaging. If you're gonna send me masks, send me the whole box or send me the original packaging if you can. That is ideal. He's talking about the alphabet soup on here, all of these different things. KN95 approved, FDA, CE, all these different words. So I'll explain some of these. So the GB 2626, where they said civil grade, they added that. This is actually the KN95 standard. Anytime you see GB in front of a standard, a medical standard, it's going to mean China. This is a Chinese standard, and this is the KN95 standard. I am suspicious that this is the KN95 for a couple of reasons. Number one is it says KN95 on it, but typically most true KN95s also say that, just like an N95 has to say NIOSH and N95 on it, most KN95s also have the standard written on it, this GB 2626. It's usually on this as well, and I don't see that on there. So that makes me pretty suspicious. Typically, they also put the company name on here as well. I think that's a part of the standard, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Since I don't see any of those things, I actually think this might be a fake. That doesn't mean it won't test well, but I think it might be a fake. Actually, I'm going to switch to this one so I can see it. Another thing on here, FDA. This isn't real for a couple of reasons. Number one, the FDA does not allow you to put their logo on packaging because it looks like they're endorsing it. So you can't say. You can say that you're an FDA-approved manufacturer, or if you're an FDA-approved device, you can say that, but masks aren't FDA-approved. They're cleared. So it would never say that. Also, they're using the old FDA logo. So someone, when they were making their little layout, made a mistake, and they pulled the old FDA logo. Although I will agree with the forger in this case, I kind of like the old FDA logo. The new one looks a lot different, so this is probably a fake. CE, by the way, if you basically file a couple pieces of paperwork, you could put CE. It's a European standard, but it doesn't mean much when it comes to masks. And then this is a European testing standard for FFRs, which, you know, maybe they passed, but I'm starting to wonder. I am going to agree with Peter here that this is alphabet soup. I also, it says this mask is used to prevent non-oily suspended particles, filtration efficiency at 95%. It's making that claim. That's exactly what we're going to test here. And I was able to find a couple places online that had this. And again, it looks exactly like this, and they're not putting that GB 2626, lends me to believe that it's probably a fake. Also, bad reviews here. So I don't know, we'll see. And just because it's a fake, actually, it doesn't mean that it won't protect you to 95%. Peter, you were right, because almost any disposable mask is going to protect you against the particulates in a forest fire, just because they're very, very large compared to COVID. They're about 20 times larger than something like COVID. Just talking about the construction a little bit, like it actually seems pretty good. This aluminum strap is really nice. That's really strong. Oh man, it broke. Oh, but look at that, got a hole in it. It shouldn't have broke like that, though. I don't like that. That's lame, especially since I only have 2 and I want to try it on. That makes it harder. So I'll just try it on like this. No smell. Wait. Actually, kind of smells like fresh cotton. It's kind of a delightful smell, if you will. So it's not bad smell. Construction, obviously, could be better. I don't have a whole box of them to do that to, so I only got the one. Let's test it, see what happens. Now, the clamp I'm using is a little bit different. This is specifically made for a KN95. And so it's going to fit just a little bit different than what we've been using. If you try to put a KN95 in our other device, it just doesn't work as well. I'm going to make sure that this lines up correctly. Here we go. Got a good seal there. Let's go ahead and let her rip. This is a particulate filtration efficiency machine. It's made to test to the ASTM standards, but a KN95 a good one that's built to the Chinese standard of the 2626 would blow it out of the water. So we'll see what it's going to do. I like that they're individually packaged. The packaging is really nice. So this thing's spooling up. Actually, an independent lab in the United States tested a bunch of KN95s that came in, over 200, and found that 70% of them didn't meet standards. 70%. I'll try to find that article and put a link here. Also, our own CDC tested, I think, 340 KN95s that were in circulation and found that 33% of them were below standard. So the KN95 format gets is not a great brand in the United States now, just because so many fakes came in. And I was yapping and not looking. We got another one here. Peter, you were right. 44%. Like that can't even have melt blown in it at that level. That's worse than a cloth mask in many cases. This is a really bad mask. You were right to not trust it. Yeah, this is really bad, and it's going down. It started at 44, now it's going down. Now, the airflow resistance is 110, 111. What's crazy about that is that our masks, our surgical masks here, test at 110 and have a 99% efficiency. Now, typically there's an inverse correlation between, like, the more breathable it is, you know, the less amount of filtration. And in this case, the filtration's really bad, and the breathability is actually not great either. So that's kind of interesting to see. All right, test is almost finishing up here. I'll be over in just a few seconds. We just recently bumped it up to 130 to give it a little bit of extra time. But yeah, we're already down under 40%, which is really, really terrible. Anything with any real melt blown in it should test better than this. And in fact, I'm so curious, I want to cut this guy up and see what's in the middle. So there you go. I'm going to actually write it down. 37.382. Wow. That is bad. Well, good job, Peter. Good eye, good catching it, and thank you so much for sending that in. If anybody else has more they'd like me to test, I would be happy to. I know the pandemic's over, but I paid for, all this machinery. I might as well test it, right? All right. If this was enjoyable for you, please like and, subscribe. I know that you don't use YouTube that much. You're not going to look at this again. It's fine. No one's checking. No one's checking to see if you use the subscriptions. Catch you next time.